Hey, I'm all grown up, man. Yeah. Ha. Alright, look. Hey, I'm so drunk it's a bad idea to talk, cause I ain't making any sense, I'm just here to rock, not sleeping, all grown up. Now the places that we go, they know us. Tell me, Mac, it's so good to see you blow up, cause now I be with cheese like cold cuts, and I ain't dealing with a hoe, got no butt. Gotta do more than chillin', just show up. Just out my mind, stay dealing with some girls who be out all the time. And the higher that I get on this mountain, I climb to the clouds. On my rise of a balcony, shine from the light of the sun. Tonight'll be fun, cause the night is still young. And the rhyme to the drum is flowing. And island, see the ocean when I'm chilling, got me smiling. Like, hey, tonight'll be great. Walking through the door with a smile on my face, like, hate me or love me. Chase dreams, ain't worry about money. I'ma get it, then spend it the way it's going.
Welcome to another dumb podcast. I am Brad C. Yeah, this has been a fun one. I wonder if you can even follow. I guess he would be. This is going to be an interesting podcast. By the way, that's Mac Miller. It's during his what is it? Kids album. This is during the deluxe, and they added a couple new songs, and this is one of them that was in there. I thought that was pretty good. But anyways, so we did an impromptu podcast tonight. I really didn't even think anything was going to happen, truthfully. I kind of thought it wasn't going to actually happen. I was going to have Jay on, and I was going to have Brandon, and then Jay fell out, and then Brandon, like, not that long ago, or he was dealing with some stuff. He's like, I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm like, all right. Jacob had already said, no, he can't make it. Well, I tried to make a solo podcast. I would say it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. But it also wasn't that great either. So I decided, you know what? I was thinking about releasing it, but I was like, I don't know. And then Brandon messaged me and was like, hey, you still recording the podcast? And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, let's do it. So we got on and we started doing it, and then I messaged Jacob. I was like, hey, if you're not doing anything, just hop on this. And he then hopped on as well. And so we ended up having a full, I would say 3 with a guest is always like at full, what is it? The hockey term. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Someone's screaming and pounding their steering wheel right now, but we were at full strength. That's what it was. That's what it is. Full strength tonight, and it was a great one. It was fun. We talked a little Stars because Stars had just won against Vegas, so that was exciting. But it's not like a Stars podcast because we talk about all kinds. We talk a little bit at the beginning about last week's podcast. With TC and what all had happened there. Then we get into some other, I think we go over some of the more controversial mascots and what some idiot had said about mental health, and it actually got kind of serious at the end. I think it was actually really good. Like, I really feel like some people need to hear this because I'm not saying it's like important, because it's not important. But, I mean, it is important, but some people are like, whatever. You're just a couple jerk-offs on a podcast, and I would agree. But, regardless, it was nice of Jacob to kind of share his feelings on a lot of those stuff. Like, I kind of joke that I call him Robot Jacob. Like, Jacob's... I'll come to him with something and be like, oh, my God, it was so awful. And he's like, why is that awful? He can't compute some of these things that you would like have an emotion about. And I think now, through what's going on with COVID and everything, there's some things going on in his head, and I think it's good that he's on his way to maybe getting better. I hope he's getting better, but I think he revealed a little bit. I don't think he'd be mad at me saying, and it's good to almost admit that it's okay and that you're a bigger man, for saying that you have a problem instead of just like building it deep inside of you and then never really letting anything out. Oh God. I'm sorry. It is very late. But listen to this podcast. I don't know which one Brendan would like me to put out, but he's at Gravy Pan. I don't even know where he came up with that. No, it's not Gravy Pan anymore. He says it's at Team Would Never. So follow him on Twitter. Follow Jacob at JD Sailors. And follow me, obviously. And Another Dumb Podcast. Another Dumb Pod. And I am Brad C. Also, if you have any questions or anything like that, send it off at anotherdumbpodcast at Gmail. If you want to donate or anything like that, send messages. We've gotten messages, so you wouldn't be the first. And we'll, if you want to have a nice Q&A, we'll read off emails. Or if you have something goofy that you would like us to talk about, we would gladly take it. Like I said, please donate to the podcast. It's not just obviously for me. We got to take time out of our day, and there's things that we've got to do. And for the group that would like to assemble for this podcast, it would be nice to maybe throw them a little bit of dough. And, it's just more or less, I made the analogy that we're just like homeless people on the side, playing our guitars, and we got our guitar case out, and, just throw a couple bucks, make us feel better that we're not just talking to the wind. I mean, we see that people are actually listening, but it'd be nice if it was like an acknowledgement of some sort. I don't know. Maybe I'm asking too much of you. I don't know. All right. Well, I think that's it. Let's send you off to the podcast. I'm sorry. Also, fair warning. The start of it's kind of funny, but I kind of just hit the record button and we went. There's a few edits because there were some Wi-Fi issues. Just deal with that. And then there are, at the end, I had a dumb card that decided, hey, I'm full. I don't need to do anything anymore. And it sucked. So at the end, I do want to say something. At the end, Brandon made a great point, and we missed every bit of it, but he made a point about Tim Hardaway, about how he had said some reprehensible things, and then later on was, instead of maybe canceled, he was actually taught and given some some guidance on an issue. And I think that was really great. I think we can learn from not canceling people, but from helping them learn and grow. So I think that's it. It's a long intro, longer than I want, but it's not too bad. Enjoy Another Dumb Podcast with Brandon and Jacob. See ya. Cleveland.
Yes. Cleveland. Nice Howard the Duck reference.
Since watching Howard the Duck, I only reference it as Cleveland. Hold on, let me grab a beer real quick. Hold on.
All right. Post-game beers.
Yeah. I recorded. I wonder if I should probably. So I already recorded, but I'm going to record again because I hate doing podcasts by myself. It's unbelievably awkward. But I was live, just sitting there. I was talking about something, and then I go, "Yes, fuck yes!" So
Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to get my son to go to bed when Red scored, so I'm like, yes, and he's like, almost asleep, and then suddenly wakes up, and I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, that's impossible. So how did the podcast go last week? How did you think it went?
I'll be honest, I'm only about maybe 2 hours into it, and so I don't know if I've gotten into any of the juicy or salacious parts
I would
where
say
you guys had disagreements, but
yeah, I would say you got the gist of it. So from the amount that you heard, what did you think?
well, like I said, I've always considered TC to be likable, even if I don't really agree with his politics, and then even if I still think that, if he's making a documentary suggestion on something that's more to kind of serve his own narrative as opposed to challenge his beliefs, but he's not Jake. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, he's not Jake, that's for sure. I mean, so whenever this happened the week prior, was Jacob just out of nowhere going, "Hey, we should do a podcast with TC," and I was just like, "Okay," and then he agreed to do it, and so I was like, "All right,
It's
well,
like, okay,
I guess we'll do this." But I've heard him. So maybe with him talking to someone else and then maybe talking about someone else, like I think he like face to face or having some type of conversation, he would be a lot more subdued. But like if he was on a podcast going, "All right, let's talk about Brad," and he'd be like, "Well, he's a freaking idiot," or something like that.
yeah.
I think he would be more like balls out, like trying to, so where this one he was very subdued. He was at most points. He wasn't there to. I was like, okay, if he's going to pick a fight, then I don't really know how this podcast is going to go.
Right.
Like, if it's going to be like that, I don't even know if I would want to release something like that. So, I mean, maybe if it was good radio, but if it's not, if it's just it ends up us calling each other ass faces, I don't think that's going to be really great radio.
Well, and I wonder how much the dynamic of when I know when the podcast started, it was you and Jacob and him, and then of course Jay joined a little bit later. So I don't know if that dynamic kind of played into how subdued he was. If it had just been the both of you kind of going back and forth, if that would have.
I think that's why I enjoyed. I was like, Jacob, I need you to be in here because I don't want to bring someone on the podcast because they make time regardless of who they are. I mean,
right.
If you make time to come on the podcast and record, I'm not over here going to be like a total dick to you. Like,
right.
That's just, it seems just rude. So with him, like I told Jay and Jacob, like I do not want to have an adversarial podcast with TC. I want to have a podcast where we're very like not congratulatory, but we want to compliment him on what he had done at the ticket and with IJB and everything. Because I can't deny that when I first got into like actually listening to podcasts and stuff like that, TC and Jake were one of those podcasts that I would always listen to. Like I have to listen to this podcast, and so whenever you have to give credit where credit due. Is that the same podcast whenever I started to what it is now? No, I don't think so at all. But I was like, let's just be very nice. And if we do get into something that's maybe adversarial, then we'll get into it. But I do not want to have anything that starts off, goes, "Hey, what's up, TC? I freaking wrong about everything." No, I just wanted to be like, I wanted to be to make someone feel comfortable. And then, and for me to be comfortable, like, I don't want to just jump into somebody's, shit to just be like, you're freaking wrong about all your podcast is dumb now. I didn't want to, and that's not really you're not gonna have a great podcast there. You're gonna have a really, you're not gonna be able to react well to each other. So that was the goal of the podcast in my mind. I don't know how it, you listened to some of it. So I was curious to see how anybody else on the outside would actually feel how that podcast went.
No, I mean, I think it went good, and I think that TC kind of showed a side that I hadn't really seen before. He did get into kind of his exit from the ticket, which I've mentioned to you in the private conversation online that it kind of mirrors the experience that Groups had when he was there. And it was kind of one of the reasons why he left as well, is that I don't really have a future here. So, I love the guys that I work with, but I'm not too crazy about the management. So, and I don't know how much, inside knowledge you have on that, or.
Well, as we were talking about it, was like, which is kind of fun, is that TC is very transparent about wages at the ticket. And I've known about these wages for the ticket, and really sports radio, whenever you have. So I don't really know how much hosts get paid now. Like at some point, I'm thinking, Mike and Grego were probably sniffing almost $1 million back in the day.
Yeah.
Where nowadays, if you're making $1 million doing radio, it'd be pretty close, but I don't think you're really there. I think you're making good money. You're living in, where you want to live, Highland Park or whatever you want to do. But past the host, there's the sharp drop off from host to producer to board op. Those people are making, if people who, you can manage at a McDonald's and make more than those guys.
Right.
So
and I think even to that end, unless you're in, I think there's probably a steep drop off from, the musers and the hard line even to bad radio, because if you'll remember, I think it was about 5 years ago, it was almost practically a done deal that Bob and Dan were going to go to the Fan, because this all happened over Summer Bash. And I've heard stories about how, they were basically saying their goodbyes there, and then they had to change their heart over the weekend.
I was at that Summer Bash, by the way. If you, by the way, there was a picture that was taken by Dan, and I didn't realize what he was doing at that moment. He was taking a picture of the last time he was on the ticket or whatever.
Right.
He was singing his song for the Ticket Time Wasters, and I'm in the background with my feet in the pool at Sneaky Pete's, I believe, in Louisville. So.
Right.
And if you go listen to the Bob Sturm show, that podcast that I did with him, we talked about this significantly, and I was shocked to know. We did the Q&A at Ticket Stock. It was basically like a Q&A, but he couldn't take a cell phone in. You couldn't, it was all real locked down, so they could feel comfortable to talk whatever they wanted to. Very, very infuriating. I don't know how long it was, maybe a half hour, because a bunch of, shithead P1's going to go, hey, wants to do bits and stuff, not like actual, like no one wanted to actually.
Nothing thought provoking.
It's I'm like, oh, these guys are just, I'm going to do my bit. And, they're over there. Chappie was there for some reason. And Jake's dad, and they were like, Chap, you can give us your picks of the week? And he's like, actually, I don't even handicap. And I'm like, I don't care about him.
Right.
I mean, he seems like a nice guy, but I'm like, are we really doing this? But I saw how the questions were going, so I go, I got a question right now, because I was there at Summer Bash, and that really bad radio at that moment was one of my favorite shows. That's the show that I had to listen to that show. And for them to go to the Fan, I was like, this is not, I don't know if this is going to work. And they even admit that it would not work. And maybe they're right. I'm pretty sure they're probably right now. But they had told, I had asked Dan this, and he goes, yeah, we were gone. And, in my mind, I thought it was oh man, they finally reached a deal that suited them. But during that, and confirmed it with Dan, and I confirmed it with Bob during the podcast, that they took a haircut during that. Did you know that?
A haircut?
Yeah, like they were doing it to like, we're going to make more money over at the fan. Then ticket goes, bye. And they're like, never mind, we'll come back. All right, we got to take a pay cut.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my God, the management of the ticket, just fucking dreadful. That's it's cutthroat dealings there, but
yeah,
that go listen to the Bob podcast. That was a really it was an illuminating an affair there. But other than that, I think the only thing I would say, and I talked about this in my solo podcast that's probably not going to be released, but whiskey had become a factor at the end of that podcast. You probably are going to get to it, where I can't formulate my thoughts at one point, and I'll go, I don't know. So I think I'm not a big drinker, so that's what's kind of, I'm drinking here in a hotel room by myself, but it's
right.
It's more or less as a Stars one, but I mean, I'm on typical, like, I'll be at home. I rarely pop a top over at the house, so I was sitting there drinking whiskey, and I just kind of got in, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm too into it. And I'm like, I kind of lost it at the end there. Not to where I didn't know what I was saying, but I was
right.
I challenged TC on something about like housing in Los Angeles. It was something stupid. I was just being
right.
I was kind of being a dick or whatever, but
right.
In my normal mindset, I would have been like, oh yeah, I could totally respond to this. On whiskey, it was like, I have no idea what I want to say. So I'm sure some people who were listening, they were like, what are you doing? Like, that was really bad. But no, it was more or less I didn't know we were going to have a discussion about housing in Los Angeles, but all right.
Yeah,
well, he just came up with like the generic, like, well, we just need more housing. And I go, well, how would you like to accomplish that?
Right.
And it's like just generic. We need more housing. It's like, all right, well, go to Los Angeles. It's not like going
to San Francisco.
It's not like going into like Midland where there's tons of room. Like you're in a landlocked mass. There's mountains everywhere. You can't do anything in Los Angeles. You're landlocked. And then on top of that, you have regulations and everything that if you even wanted to try to build something or there's some open land somewhere, good luck. You ain't doing it. So that's what my point was. It's a combination thing. Go ahead.
It's kind of like how he mentioned that he was born in Naperville and said that there's no suburbs to the east of Chicago because you got Lake Michigan, so everything is just kind of starts in Chicago and spreads out west.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the same deal when you're in San Francisco or Los Angeles, and and out there you don't have just water to the south of like Los Angeles, but you also have mountains to the north and to the east. And there's, anybody who's ever been out there, and I was out there 3 years ago for a team meeting, knows there's just every square inch that where you could possibly put anything, it's already built out.
It's already built out. Yeah. So it's not like, so that's why I brought up the point of a high rise. So if you found just a little bit of land and build up and try to throw a bunch of people in there, that would be the one thing. But to do that, you can't do it. But he's like, well, you should just all have quadplexes. I'm like, where the fuck are you going to build a quadplex?
Right.
In Los Angeles. So I don't know. That was one little disagreement we had. And then he got tiny bit. You could tell he got peeved when I asked him if he was going to work again, because if you've been paying attention, he left a ticket to be a millionaire, but he's not a millionaire,
right?
And then but anyways, where was I at the TC? He had you could tell he got peeved at me a little bit. This is the one point that he got peeved at me, was he was we were having a conversation. I said, "Hey, you think you're ever going to get back to work?" You know, he left a ticket. He was going to get into some business venture, and now that's on hold. So he became a Lyft Uber driver, and podcasting on the side, obviously. And but now since the COVID, you know, I've been paying attention. He stopped driving for Lyft. He started getting on government assistance for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just asked, and I remember him saying, you know, probably at the end of July I'll get back. But he had sounded like he's not back, and he had pretty much no intention of ever getting back, or not anytime soon. So I said that, and he's like, "Oh, you know, I want to get back." You know, we talked about something, and we went back to. He's like, "I just want to address the thing about Brad. You know, you should probably think about, you know, getting, you know, taking advantage of leisure time and da 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 da." I'm like, I mean, listen here, bud. I had already been on unemployment just recently, and I you know, it's not something that I was enjoying, and I have a job, and I'm much more. I feel much better in my mental space now, and if it's something that he can do, then that's fine. You know, I that was just for me, and you know, he actually admitted that you know, he had the same thing happen to him back in the day whenever he got fired from that Pensacola job in ESPN.
Right.
So he could tell he was a little perturbed by that comment, and I wasn't really trying to piss him off, but I was just more or less making the sense of like, even if you're going to go back to go driving Lyft, are you going to do something?
Right. It's like you don't want to kind of come off as his parents or anything, but at the same time, you know, because I know that he worked on one of the political campaigns for one of the Phil Johnson, Kingston, I believe.
Yeah.
And then I think he did somebody else's. He volunteered, I guess, for Bernie's campaign as well.
That was free. And I think the other one might have been for free. But you know, this is the kind of disconnect. Like, you know, the reason why he had blocked me on Twitter is because I had called him fat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And as a fat man, well, as slightly overweight, I would say. Maybe I'm not full on fat man, but you know, I've had my brushes with weight problems. Seeing a person like me, like I actually try, and I fail. I try and I fail, and sometimes I succeed. But at least I'm trying. Where you see somebody like him, and he's just fully given up.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just fully given up. And that was my only thing too with him. I was like, no, I mean, like, are you trying to get like super fat? It's like, or I think what I said was like, how fat are you actually trying to get? Is what I said. Yeah. Oh, look, Jacob's going to join.
Oh, cool.
I pleaded with him to join, and now he's going to come on.
Awesome. All right.
Jacob, live from some living room or wherever you're at.
What the fuck, man? Why is this so damn... I can barely hear y'all.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
Do you not have headphones?
Left them in the truck.
Oh, well.
Oh, okay. We'll try to speak
First
up.
time trying it out on phone.
Well,
I can't hear a thing.
The phone, you sound actually better than you've ever sounded before.
Well, that's good for y'all.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't want to hear anything.
Hey, how about them Dallas Stars?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, having
I'm
a
actually rewatching the game
congratulatory
right
Coors
now.
Light. So
Pretty high. Oh, wait. How's that? Talk. Somebody talk.
hello.
Oh,
Okay.
hell yeah.
All right.
Put it on speakerphone. My energy level just raised. I'm able to hear you.
Sounds good.
Fuck yeah.
Yes. How about them? We're actually doing a recap of the TC podcast. Well, we're going to get to
Yeah.
stars here in a second.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Apologies to Radulov and Hudobin, but okay.
Well, I saved them for the end. They're like the headliner of the podcast.
Okay, where are we at then? What are we talking about?
Well, I just talked about how we just talked generally how the TC podcast went. I know you didn't listen to it, but I don't know if you had a retrospect on it.
There's no fucking way I could ever go back and listen to myself. I act like a fucking idiot on these podcasts.
It's okay. I know the feeling. When I did the Defending Big D podcast, we did those live, so I think I listened to myself for about 5 seconds on one of them, and I'm like, okay.
You guys want to hear a fun fact that'll take 2 seconds?
Let's do it.
Okay.
The guy that played Shoeless Joe Jackson, I know he's a famous actor. Okay, I don't really pay attention. Anyway,
Like
he's
in
never
what?
seen Phil. Huh?
In
John
what?
Cusack.
Is that who it was? Anyway.
Yeah, if you're talking about 8 Men Out.
Hold on, are you talking about 8 Men Out
sorry,
or
Field of Dreams.
Okay, Field of Dreams. That's what I was
Yeah.
like. You just really went into something. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I forget there's 11 Shoeless Joe Jackson movies. Anyway, Field of Dreams,
That's right.
right?
I only
The
thought
guy
of
that
two.
The guy that played Shoeless Joe Jackson said he had never seen Field of Dreams because he's like, I can't stand watching myself. It's like that makes me cringe.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of how I am with this podcast. I'm literally Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Well, I got to play the end here, that because I feel like you have to listen
All right.
to how the end happened. Give me
Okay.
just 2 seconds if this is going to work. Because the end was probably my most favorite end to a show we've ever had.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Dude, it's a magical place.
What area is this farm in? You don't just give me an
Oh.
address, but
Let me.
Come on,
I'm
Mino.
not sure that this podcast was fun or funny or any type of anything, but I enjoyed it. Can everybody hear this?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
it.
okay. Just making sure I didn't want to be just playing it. I'm like,
I will relook. Good, man. No, this was a hit. TC, give us your best advice from a professional like yourself. You're in the major leagues. What do we need to do?
I don't know.
isn't that the best
I don't
end
know.
to a podcast ever? Drunk Jacob giving him a nonsensical question.
Hey, it wasn't nonsense. I thought I delivered it pretty well.
I was just like, I'm sitting over there like, what are you doing? It was so great that podcast ended, and I go right
What?
then and there. I said, stop, we're done. Like we can't go any further off of that.
I thought he was on there to help our show.
You think that's what he was there
Funny
for?
stories.
Is it goddamn consultation or something?
Yes. Absolutely. Like, it's a failure if you don't ask that
It's a
question.
consultant.
Yeah, so that was my favorite. Anything that's ever happened on this podcast. It was one of my favorite things. We got a I don't know from TC.
I don't remember that at all, but I was actually impressed that I was able to hold it together enough to ask that question the way I did.
Yeah.
So, because I was blacked out. But, dude, I drank almost a fucking two-thirds of a bottle of bourbon that night.
Oh, I know. I'm already
Yeah.
out of my. I didn't bring any whiskey with me here because I drank it all. So
Oh, no. This is my detox. I'm drinking Mick Ultra. That's me detoxing.
But as a sober person, did you remember anything from that podcast that it was halfway decent?
I thought he was energetic and into it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of the vibe I had the whole time. I really loved his answer to my Dallas City Council question. I thought he rattled that off with the smoothness, so that was fun. Same with the White Sox question. I fired him with the Joe Creedy question, and I
Yeah.
said, "Give me 30 seconds on Joe Creedy," and he did it, and that was fun. I don't know. There were little highlights I remember. It was a good time.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought the energy was good. As long as the energy's good, I think it's somewhat of a decent listen.
No, I think for a 2.5 hour podcast, I thought it was a fine listen for people to kind of regardless of what I feel about TC. I mean, I don't have any kind of ill will towards him. I think he's kind of wrong in a sense, and I think I might call Texas Workforce Commission on him for working while having government assistance. But other than that, everything seems fine.
Dude, fuck
I'm
that.
gonna rat him out.
Let the man get his money.
It was
any
a
way
joke,
possible.
dude. If you can take money from the government, I have no problem.
Exactly.
I kind of like, all right. Do your thing, homeboy.
It's pretty funny, though.
Well, I was sitting there going, so
your
you're making
slice.
money off the podcast, and you're getting government assistance. All right. Well,
See, I think your bar, because your name's on the show and whatnot, like it's your brand. Like I think you have such a higher bar for what's a good podcast. For me, as long as it's not like a bunch of dead air and it's boring and we're just trying to fight through it and it's all super pre-programmed. Like we're going to talk about this at this time and because I've heard podcasts like that where it's just so uncomfortable because the guys are so uptight. And they're not letting loose and showing their personalities, and it sucks. But I don't think we have that problem at all, so I think it's a pretty decent listen.
no, I think that's one thing that you've ever told me about this podcast. And, okay, it's probably the only thing that you've ever told me beneficial to this podcast is goes, screw everything as long as we're high, like high energy, fuck everything, and like whatever, we're good. And I think you're right. Whenever you're sitting there going, hi, welcome to another dumb podcast.
Exactly. I turn it off right away. I don't care how good the
Right.
content is. I'm out.
So
I'm fucking out.
no, I think you're right on that. I've noted. That's and I think that's what we achieved.
I think too many people who podcast worry about being good rather than having fun. And people want to have fun when they listen to podcasts.
Right.
So, that's
Damn.
my take on it. But I don't know anything. That's why I asked TC for help. And now that I have, I've got his advice. Maybe I can start podcasting for real.
I think
Now that
TC
I have the
needs to
advice
take
of a professional.
advice. I think TC needs to take advice from you. So, all right. Well,
Yeah.
other than that, well, Jay was supposed to be here when we were going to rank the offensive mascots, but I don't think we're going to be able to get to that.
Dude, have you heard about this? The Abington. Brad, help me out. What was it? The Abington hooded ghost?
No, the galloping ghost.
Galloping ghost, yeah. The Abington. You got to see the logo.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to pull it up in a second. Hold on.
Holy.
Dude, it is
What in
unbelievable.
Oh my god.
Have you already looked it up?
I just pulled it up.
All right. Well, we're going to get to a little countdown because I'm not going to
This is
say.
so shocking.
Yeah.
Not even Taco would defend that.
No.
Taco would be like, whoa.
I'm going to go through. See, this is the apple knockers. I think these aren't the good ones though. We should have compiled a full list though. I just wanted to go over
that might be a segment for another one, but dude, the Abington galloping ghost must be addressed immediately.
Well,
are
what
we
was
doing?
more shocking to me is that you have told me that Bob Saget had attended that school.
No, that's not what I said, Brad. I said Bob Saget is a proud galloping ghost.
No, he went there. Am I getting this wrong?
No, I'm saying what you're saying, but I'm saying it correctly. He's a proud galloping ghost.
Yes. So he's a proud member of the Galloping Ghosts.
No, that's not what I said.
All right,
He
all right,
is
all right.
a proud galloping ghost.
Well, see, these ones I don't think are that offensive. There's an Arkansas School for the Deaf Leopards, which is not really, that's kind of funny. The home of the hobos, Laurel Hill, Florida.
There's a lot of hobos out there.
The Wapleton WOPS. I will not say that one. Are y'all seeing what I'm saying?
I probably depends on how hurt he is.
Well, the word is he's healthy, right?
Hey,
I haven't heard that actually.
Thank Christ you're back.
no Stars Talk before Stars Talk is allowed.
Dude,
Where did
you
I-
lost so many subscribers in the last 30 seconds. You wouldn't believe it.
Shit.
That's not how this works. You can't record unless I'm on.
Dude,
So,
Vamping is so
Is that in the
hard.
yeah.
I'm someone that can literally talk forever, but when you put me on the spot, it's like, all right, talk. I'm like,
I know. You're
I
more
immediately go to Andrew Cogliano talk.
you're more of a sniper, as I would say. But sorry.
Yeah. Keep me in my role.
Here's the most offensive one. Hey, can you read that one, Jacob? What does it say?
You know what, dude? I can't read that. Yeah, it's a little too small.
The Peckin chunks. I think that's what it says.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I can't say that.
I don't have my readers on.
Sister-in-law is Chinese, so I can't.
I don't have my readers on.
Why don't you spell it?
Okay. CHIN. Anyways, all right. The free.
If you finish that word on your own,
What you'd find in armor,
listener. Anybody who's listening, they finish that word.
That's
on
a
their own,
real
they're
school,
racist.
by the way. Look it up. Pekin, Illinois. There, and the name was changed in the 1980s, which it seems like that should have been like later. Like they like figured it out in like 1992 or 99, where they're like, guys, I think this might be offensive. I feel like they were being pretty progressive in 1980.
Okay, but the Galloping Ghosts are taking the field tomorrow night for State 3A football or whatever.
All right. I guess we'll skip the Freeburg Community Midgets, but in our local,
dunked it too. We caught it on time.
but for number, I don't know. We're not really doing a countdown, but on this one, it's number 7. Is Frisco, Texas, fighting? I can't see what that word is. The Raccoons.
They've already changed it. They've already changed it.
Yes, the Raccoons. That was in
That
was in 2002.
They're literally the Coons. They just changed it like this year.
Oh no! Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
it says
that was on the ticket.
2002.
I don't know. I feel like that was pretty recent.
The board.
really?
It says right in here in 2002, the board decided that Coons was just too offensive, so they changed it to the Raccoons. But I think they've changed it from the Raccoons. Like
That's
you can't say Coons, which is kind of funny how that word has taken weird turns. Like you can use it for shortening of raccoons, and it's an offensive term towards black people. And then there's actually black people who use it as a term for black people. Did you know that?
That's a good point. I didn't think about it that way.
That word has taken on crazy bit of left and right turns.
A lot of fucking negative energy behind that word.
Good.
Maybe it's just best that
we leave that one alone. Exactly.
Yeah, don't make it a law or anything, but as a general good for society, let's encourage each other just to leave that one alone.
Yes. I don't understand the corn jiggers. The Hereford.
Whoa,
I would like to talk to Hereford, Texas, about the White Faces. I'm not really sure. The team is named for a breed of cattle that has white face. I'm sure. This one's not really offensive, but in Butte, Idaho, they are named the Pirates. Now, Butte is spelled. That's just
They're doing bits.
Keep going.
Not offensive, just funny. Now, this is what we're all coming here for. Was the Robstown, Texas cotton pickers.
Yeah, and we can have a discussion about this one. And I was looking forward to maybe being the devil's advocate because I knew Jay would veto it right away.
He'd be like, we need to change this right now.
Yeah, but I was seeing a lot of comments from people in that town that were like, excuse me, I'm white and my family definitely picked cotton in this town. Like, we went back there was a lot of white people that were like, my grandparents, great-grandparents picked cotton in this town. That's why we're called this.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I've definitely heard of stories of my family members as, I guess would they be considered? They're not migrant workers because they're not migrants, but they're field workers who were picking cotton. I think my famous great grandfather Bob Wills he picked cotton as a kid.
I don't know, man. I love to be team apathetic. Where change it, I don't care.
Where did we leave off? Where did I leave off at?
We were just
Cotton
kind of
pickers.
rambling on about the cotton pickers. You said you had family members.
Yes.
And then
Well,
that's the
I
last
was
thing
saying I have family members, and actually, my famous great grandfather Bob Wills was a cotton picker back in the day. Like, you know, he grew up in like the 1910s or something like that, or something early. Like, so that's you drive around in Texas. There's cotton fields. It's just what happens. It's where we're at.
Yeah, and someone made the point that that's not if it's going to be offensive to anyone, it's not going to be offensive to black people. It's going to be offensive to poor people.
That's who picks the cotton.
Exactly.
But if anything you say, you know, hey, I want to name the Redskins the Red Tails. Well, I am not glorifying, or what are you saying? Like, you're honoring them as calling them the Red Tails. Like,
Right.
what they do in
It's more
that
of
town is cotton is a commodity there, and it's very important to them. So they're honoring the cotton pickers in the town.
Yeah, I think what gets offensive is when you got the Chief Wahoo logo or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
It's just literally, from what I'm seeing, it's just a logo of cotton. Like,
yeah.
Even, I guess, the thought of cotton is really offensive.
Well, and what we were talking about when you died was that I think people just get wrapped up in the next battle. Like, they need that adrenaline rush of what's the next thing we can fight? Like, what change can I help make to make me feel like my life matters? Can we get this name changed? Okay, cool. I don't really care if the name changes or not, except for the fact that it's something in the world that I can influence. I have no control over my job, my life, my love life, my family, but I can control if this mascot gets changed.
Yeah.
So therefore, I really care about it. And then they just move on to the next thing, right?
They've already forgot about the thing that they were saving.
Eggs, that's what I mean.
And now
Yes.
you're dead. And now
Right.
no one cares about you anymore.
Exactly. They need that next bit of injection of life.
We can.
So to me, that doesn't seem like a worthy reason to change anything. If anybody wants to change it, it should be the people of the town.
Yeah.
If the people of the town are uncomfortable with it, change it.
And
Right?
how
But
many?
If not, who the hell cares?
How many people in that town do you think are on Twitter and really worried about what those doofuses have to say?
No, every single one from that town that I've seen on Twitter has said, stop it. Leave us alone.
Pretty much. Well,
Now, with everything I just said, the Galloping Ghost got to go.
Yeah, that's
we regret to inform you that the Galloping Ghosts are at the top of the list of, that's got to go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really have any.
And you remember what I just said? Like, it's one thing to have a team name, the Galloping Ghost. It doesn't sound that bad. But when you see the fucking logo, dude,
yeah.
The
they don't try to
logo.
hide anything.
If you're
there.
not out there, go look up the Galloping Ghost of wherever the hell they're
Holy
from.
F, dude.
That's very shocking.
Arbington Galloping Ghost. It is shocking.
Yeah, it is kind of shocking.
They're not hiding anything there.
Yeah, other than that, we had the Coachella Valley, which is that's in California. That's where they had like the festival and stuff, right?
Coachella?
Yeah,
Probably.
they are known until 2014 as the Mighty Arabs.
Jesus.
Yes.
Well, at least they're mighty, right? I guess. They're honoring them.
They're mighty, not like the savagey Arabs or something like that.
Not the low T Arabs.
They're not. They came to bring it. So that's the only one I can really see, other than the Orofino Maniacs out of Idaho.
Okay, that's really pushing it.
The Maniacs. Yeah.
Next thing you know, we're not going to get to see King of the Hill Propaniacs episode anymore.
One on here was I guess there's a London baseball. They don't play baseball in London, do they? Oh, this
No.
is it. No, this is a Canadian province
Okay.
where they're called the London Rippers.
What's the problem with that?
After a murderer, Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. But other than that,
No, come on.
that's the one bit of
That's
song I would have.
fucking weak.
I would have loved to have
Dude,
Jay
the
on
Atlanta
here.
Braves are more offensive than that.
So I have to jump in here and just point out that after every Red Sox win and every Bruins win, they play a song that glorifies the Boston Stranglers. So to me, no more dirty water.
Well, Boston has a.
Gonna be next.
Then during their seventh inning stretch is about a song written by.
Eighth, actually.
Do what?
It's actually during the eighth. So, before the bottom of the eighth.
Okay, sorry.
Well, I'm very picky about details here.
Okay.
Get your fucking facts right, Brad.
Yeah, that's right.
Call yourself a podcaster. Sean
This is the podcaster record.
Yeah, by Neil
Sean was
Diamond. Neil Diamond wrote that song about which Kennedy? Caroline Kennedy.
Hold on. Do not cancel Neil Diamond on me right now.
Yeah, Neil Diamond's going down because he wrote a song about a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah.
So, Jacob now. Look at Jacob. He was like,
we
we can't cancel him, and he's like, I gotta.
I knew the story of Caroline Kennedy.
Hey guys, just wanted to take a quick second and tell you about Anchor. And you're like, what? I don't want an Anchor. No, this is the website Anchor. Anchor.fm. That is how you're listening to this podcast. I wanted to start a podcast a few months ago, and a friend told me, hey, go try Anchor. And I looked at it and I said, wow, this is easy. You just got to download the information or download the audio file. Boom, you're in there. You can even record it all on your phone. I do it a little more professional-like, but you could just easily just talk into your phone and it records fine. But then it also puts you on iTunes, does all the fun stuff, not the fun stuff. I mean the hard stuff. But that's the hardest part, and Anchor does all it for you. I'm on iTunes. I'm on Spotify. I would say years ago or months ago, that would have been quite a task to individually go and find, get on Stitcher. Well, now Anchor does it for me. So just wanted to let you know, download the free Anchor app now or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you. And back to the podcast.
But I don't know if y'all I don't really want to get into it's kind of a thing for like right wingers to get all uppity about that Cuties movie on Netflix. I don't know if anybody's heard about that.
I have.
I've heard the controversy.
No, it's disgusting.
It's absolutely disgusting.
I don't think you got to be right wing. I do think that right wingers who probably wouldn't care use it as battle ammo, but me,
well, that's what
just
sucks about
like a normal person. I think it's disgusting. So
yeah, that's what's kind of crazy about it, and it's almost like I was actually reading a review on it, and obviously it was from a snarky right winger, but at least someone watched the movie, so I don't have to. Jeez, I already had to watch a horrific clip. I was really hoping that this was going to be this, it's utter trash. What I saw, but. This guy goes, well, yeah, she's on a dance troupe and she's discovering her sexuality. By the way, she's 11.
Cancel the fuck out of that.
I have an 11-year-old daughter. This is terrifying for me to see this. So
dude, that makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, it makes me sick to the stomach. But at the end, she discovers she doesn't want to do that. So art, that's what they said basically. Like, see, art. And I'm like, no, you don't get to just get a loophole because you made her quit the horror shit that she was doing in that. I don't know.
So my question off the bat is, how many people who are done are like, okay, let's say that you have the donkey jersey on, right? How many of them are saying like, fuck man, I gotta go on Twitter and defend this? Ugh. All right, here I go. And then likewise, if you're wearing an elephant jersey, you're like, really? I got to be mad about this today? Okay. All right, here I go. You know what I'm saying?
No, because you kind of broke up at the beginning of that, and I think it was my fault.
God damn it.
It's my fault, but just
No,
calm down.
basically what I'm saying, okay, I'll just rephrase real quickly.
Okay.
So if you're dug in on either your team donkey or your team elephant, how many of them are saying, you know, I got to be mad about this? Okay. Or, oh my God, I have to defend this. This is disgusting. But all right, here I go. Type away. Let me defend it now.
It seems like something
That's what
that
I
would be
hate about
easy.
partisanship.
It seems
that's
like it would
what
be one of
bothers
those
me
easy
about any
things
issue.
that if anybody had just a bit of a spine and just been like, I know these right wingers are getting all mad about it, but yeah, they're actually kind of right about this, and then go, yeah, this is disgusting. But I never
would
hear
vote that
anybody
person
do
for
that.
President at this
No.
point.
Yeah.
Like the person that said that, like, hey, I know I'm supposed to defend this, but this movie is sick. They have it right. I would vote for that person for president.
Yeah. And they could have all types of dumb things that they want to talk, but just be like, you know what? I'm sorry.
I don't care. You were honest about one thing, and that's better than any politician ever. So,
Right.
Sure. So, yeah, that's the Cuties talk. I'm not going to get anything further. I'm not going to play the
No,
video for
that's
you
it.
guys because it was disgusting.
all of us normal people agree it's gross. So,
So
let's
it's
move on.
weird.
Right.
It's weird that it has to be come up as a right wing talking point. When I was like,
Well, then, hey, I'm right wing now. Then
yeah, that's whenever people go,
shut up.
well, you're just trying to be like Trump or do. It's like, okay, fine, I'm voting for Trump now because
Then I'm voting for Trump.
Then
Yeah,
whatever.
That's exactly right.
That's what happens.
Dude, that argument does not work on me.
Yeah. You trying to shame me out of not looking at child porn? Okay, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess we can go to Stars talk. Stars won
Okay.
3-2 in
Yes.
overtime today. Holy crap! For some of you guys who don't know, I was recording a solo podcast, which is the most pathetic thing ever to do. Don't do it.
During
Right.
the Western Conference Finals.
I was
of all
sitting there.
fucking things.
I was like, maybe someone will jump on. Nobody jumped on, but
Yeah.
I'm sitting there talking
Yeah,
about
no
whatever.
fucking shit, Brad.
We could have watched it together.
Well, I was at the bar.
It's
so,
fine.
Sue me.
So
That's fun in the kid to bed.
I guess I could run down the entire game. I actually,
Everybody watch. Don't bother.
you know, I mean, the most frustrating part was just it seemed like they. Now I'm not a big like shots guy. I think I'm a quantity over or quality over quantity type thing.
Sure.
Like good quality shots over like a bunch of. They had 40 shots on them, but they were all just garbage, not clear shots. I felt like that's what maybe the Stars were doing tonight. And Brandon, you're gonna have to take a little bit of lead on a lot of this because
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that, so along those lines, you know, in game 2, they had basically no offensive attack whatsoever.
Yes.
And I'd say tonight that was probably marginally better. Obviously they had the Alexiak breakaway goal, which is, what everybody was counting on coming into this game. But you also had the Ben goal that was a soft goal, I think, by Robin Lanner's standards. But still, it would be considered a higher danger scoring chance, certainly much higher than they had of all of game 2. And then, the Radulov game winner, which was just a thing of beauty. It was what they call a Harley kick, to where you kick out your right skate and act like you're going to shoot to the right, because that's usually where a lot of your weight's going. And then he went completely the other way and off the post and in. But still.
So can I stop you right there real quick?
Okay.
That Radulov goal, I told my buddy who's not huge into hockey, I said, that's about as world class as anything you'll ever see. I mean, that is
Right.
That is a Lucas step back or a Trout, going the other way for a double. I mean, pick whatever amazing athletic feat that you admire, and that's what
Dirk
that is.
fadeaway.
Yeah, whatever it is, a Syndergaard fastball. That's what that just was. That is the best in the world right there. It doesn't get any better than that.
And he's on our team.
A Rivera cut fastball.
Which is kind of frustrating because I would say Radulov was kind of shitty last game. He was probably the worst.
Dude, he's shitty.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about this when you died. He is shitty every game at moments. And then at moments
He takes one bad penalty every game.
Yeah.
He's got grapefruits, man. That's one thing about Radulov. He is not scared of anything.
Yeah, so...
I got to win the game right here? No problem.
Yeah.
I got this. Guys with lesser grapefruits will shoot that over the net, or they'll just put it right in the belly of the goalie. Not Radulov. Radulov's going off the post and in, and let's go drink beer.
It was quite exciting, but I didn't feel like they had to be in that hole where they were at, though, because they took this horrific. There was a string of penalties where Klingberg, I saw it all the way. I was like in slow motion when he threw it over the glass. Right. And I'm like, God, he really just did that. And then, was it
Como?
Mm-hmm. Como takes another penalty.
Yeah.
So now we're 5-on-3, and I'm like, well, here we go. Let's just give him this.
Yep.
Let's just give him this goal and let's get it over with. So they eventually get that off there. Yeah, that was one of the more frustrating parts. I guess that's just hockey. I don't know. I figured
it's Stars hockey for sure. Like, they're going to commit a lot of penalties, and they're not going to get shit called the other way. You're just going to have to live with that because it's been a trend now for, I don't know, Brandon, you may say it goes all the way back to Calgary.
What the fuck is that?
I thought they got a lot of calls against Calgary, but they're not getting shit against Colorado or Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed
down,
like
you're
they
making
weren't
me
getting
sick.
Huh?
I said, sit down. You're making me sick. Go ahead. Sorry, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean,
for the listeners, I'm sorry. For the listeners, Jacob is just walking around his house.
I paid when I talk on the phone.
I feel like we're watching that one show where they would like have a video camera on their chest as they would go through a challenge. I can't remember what that show is called.
Well, hey, I usually podcast from my laptop in my office.
Yeah.
But since I'm on the phone, I fall into the habit of this is what I do when I talk on the phone. I pace.
Well, please.
I do the same thing.
Okay, I actually know the phone pacer. They drive me nuts because I'm like I'm trying to listen to what, like, there's probably information on that phone and they just wander off and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess you just tell me when you get off. And now I'm frozen. This is going to be hella great editing. I lost connection. What am I connecting to?
Ah, crap. Brad's back.
God. Okay, enough Cogliano talk.
At least,
we'll house that for the next time he dies.
What's Cogliano? Who's that guy?
Yeah, don't worry about him, Brad. That's for the sub podcast.
Okay. Right. Is that for the Patreon when we
yeah. Got to charge for the moments you're not on.
Yes. This is gonna be a bitch to edit later.
Come here. You want us?
So we got Brandon on.
You need to leave the vamping in. It's good.
Yes.
I don't have the vamping. If I'm gone, everything's gone. Yeah.
Well, shit.
So it stops recording?
Yeah, it stops recording because I have it connected into the audio, like right now. I turned off. Can you hear me?
Brad, you got to release this tomorrow.
I will. Why?
Okay, because by Saturday, all the Stars talk will be irrelevant.
No, I know. We're like, totally going to win everything. No. Let me make sure this is up high. Can you talk real quick, Jacob?
I'm here.
All right, you sound good.
Hey, where'd you guys watch Game 7? Just real quick.
Game 7 of
Colorado.
The Colorado
the
series.
Colorado.
Let's not act like that's just
I watched
it.
I was at work,
5 days
so
ago.
He said he was at work. He walks. Where did you see it?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was at the Hero Bar across from the AAC, same place I watched tonight. So I guess
So irresponsible. Were you gatherings, blah stuff?
Large gathering.
Large gathering.
It was me and one friend.
Who am I when I just so ugh. I can't believe you went
What
out.
are you doing? Did you just take a hit of heroin?
He's playing a bit here.
I don't like large
like-
gatherings, and I can't
see.
believe you did
So
gatherings.
basically, you're like Hannah Kaiser when she was shocked that there were people at the
He's loaded.
Oh yeah.
Arrowhead Stadium for the Chiefs game.
I'm like, you're a freaking fool. During my pathetic solo podcast, I did mention that. It was like, imagine being that person who just like every time there's a reporter who every time there's anything to do with the president, he describes him with a mask or not a mask, or how many masks there are, and there's 7 masks. And I'm just like,
dude, fucking kill me.
I know. I'm like, what a pathetic existence.
Oh, that's so awful.
Just what a pathetic existence. To just my job is to
then you
call
have
out masks.
Then you have the introverts, and God knows I love introverts, but they're just like, why can't everybody just live how I always live? Doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm like, well, because we're not you. Like,
Right.
some people you got to get out.
Well, okay. Well, I want to get into. I feel like we're pretty good on Stars talk. Are we good?
I suppose we are. Yeah, they won. Maybe they didn't necessarily deserve to win in some parts of the game, but they found a way to win. And yeah,
All right, go on the record now. Are we
to...
winning this series?
Yeah.
Brandon, we winning the series?
Brandon, we have you on here. Your former defending Big D or whatever the hell it's called, or
former racist hockey writer.
Former racist hockey writer, as Jake would deem you as.
I want to say yes. I mean, and there's just something about this team. It's like tonight's game. Just it seemed like, especially when the Knights tied it and then they lost the goaltender interference challenge. It just, it kind of seemed destined at that point that the Knights had been all over them in the third period, and it looked like they were going to. This is going to be they're cashing in. And coming from behind and, winning a game that, from a stats perspective, they very much deserved to win, but would have been the only lead that they had in the game. And yet the Stars, I have no idea how Khudobin made that save towards the end of that.
Dominic Koshik, dude.
I mean, that was just, that made my... That made my quad hurt watching that.
He turned into Dominic Koshik.
He did.
It's unbelievable.
It was crazy. Now, I don't know how hurt he was, but it looked like Lehner also got hurt on the last shot of regulation. So we'll kind of see what his status is. But
here's dumb hockey. I got a dumb hockey guy question.
Okay.
So that Andre Lafleur guy, or whatever his name is.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
So that guy, he's not the goalie anymore, huh?
He is their. So when Vegas took him in the expansion draft, he was the clear starter for them for their first couple of seasons, and then the issue and what ultimately got their coach fired, Gerard Gallant, who's somebody who, if you've heard the name and you're kind of somewhat on the periphery of Stars hockey,
we wanted him.
Somebody that a lot of people, myself included, wanted the Stars to bring in during the break. And Jim Nolan said, he rolled with what he had. And I don't know if it's just because Gallant just said I wanted to take a break or whatever, but, I would have liked to have him behind the bench as opposed to Rick Bowness, but it is kind of what it is. But ultimately, getting back on track here, Vegas leaked a lot of goals early in the season, and ultimately that cost Gallant his job. So they brought in Peter DeBoer, which was kind of an interesting hire because DeBoer had been with San Jose, and San Jose and Vegas had kind of developed a little bit of a rivalry and had a controversial loss in the playoffs last year when the 3-0 lead on the controversial 5-minute major featuring
Cody Eakin, right?
Former Stars great Cody Eakin.
Cody Eakin.
So, and I think DeBoer kind of got under Vegas' skin at that point as a coach. Then they went ahead and brought him in to kind of shore up the defense. And I think one of the biggest changes that he made was he made Lehner the number one goaltender, which Fleury, interestingly enough, did play game 1, but they went back to Lehner for game 2 and game 3, but we'll see what his status is moving forward. Because
okay, so I wasn't crazy. I was thinking, I was like, I thought so he did start game one.
Right,
Well,
he did.
That's because Fleury had beaten the Stars like 5 times in a row or something like that.
Right.
At least I think that's what the rationale was. And then it was like, well, when that streak ended, okay, well, that's out the window. That stat no longer exists, which is dumb to base a decision off that stat anyway. But since it doesn't exist, it was like, all right, let's go back to the guy that we really should have started anyway. So that's
it's like the manager who puts in the hitter who has had like 15 plate appearances against a pitcher, like Hall of Fame pitcher, and has like 7 hits.
It's irrelevant.
Now, to Fleury's credit, he was awesome in game one.
He was.
He was
awesome.
Any other Stars just put him through the grinder.
That's it was a 1-0 game. I mean, like, how can
it was
you
a
be
1-0 game? And obviously, if Vegas could have found a way to break through against Chudobin a couple times, and they would have won the game. And then
that's game over.
You think Fleury probably starts game 2 as well. Instead, it's.
Well, I guess we'll find out here how Dobby's doing. As it looked like his quad or his whatever growing or something's going to be bothering him something in the morning.
But anyway, to your question, I'll go ahead and say Stars in 6. Just
Jesus
because.
Christ.
I might have gone 7, but all right.
God, guys,
I know there's something about this. I will say though that if they run into Tampa Bay, which it really looks like they are, because the Lightning, after they got swept in the first round last year, are really on a mission.
Sweet.
Yeah, Stars might get swept in the Cup final. Vegas
will
might
it be
get
worth
swept in
it?
the Cup final.
Will it be worth it?
Yeah, I told my
8 weeks in the bubble just to get swept.
Assassins right now, they are not going to lose. It doesn't matter. You can put the '80s Oilers in front of them right now. It's over.
Yeah.
I got a thought though, and I guess whoever the commissioner is, what's his name?
Gary Bettman.
Yeah,
Bettman.
I don't think he's going to be listening to me, but Stanley
I'm
Cup,
gonna add him.
Stanley Cup Finals. They stay in a quote unquote bubble, but you play games in the Cotton Bowl and in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium.
Why not Amalie? Oh, because it's indoors.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, Brad. One problem with that plan. Do you know what's happening starting tonight?
We'll figure it out.
Kicked off tonight. We didn't drop any hints with the words kickoff or anything, but
It kicked off. They put their foot
the NFL.
forward
See, here's
to
the thing:
ball.
is it takes at least like 2 weeks for them to make the ice at the outdoor stadiums, and
What?
Yeah. And
Okay,
Brad,
well,
let me just say this: even if it was feasible, even if it was a good idea, the NHL is not going to be a leader in anything.
oh, I know, but
If
I
the
just want
NBA is
fans
still
to
in a
be.
bubble, then forget it.
I just want fans to be at a fucking hockey game and at a fucking Stanley Cup. Is that
It's not
so much to
I
ask for?
see what you're going. Yes,
It's
but
not
Hannah
happening.
Kaiser might object to that.
Yeah. Well, it's very sad to me, and for people that sit there going, "Hey, there's large gatherings," it's like people need something right now. Something
Right.
you gotta have something, and you see
much,
them
bro.
and an Arrowhead. It looks. It was a solid tweet by I think it was Big Cat from the Barstool. He goes, "Such a poor fan base." In Kansas City, when you see the stadiums all
8 minutes before kickoff.
God, this fan base,
Predictable, but so.
yeah, it's a good line, but
Hey,
I'll take that over
sorry to
anything.
interrupt you, but if you wanted the Stanley Cup to have fans, you would have to wait a couple months. Did you see this tweet from Fox in LA? They said they obtained audio recordings of LA Public Health Director, Dr. whatever, it doesn't matter, repeatedly saying in a conference call that she doesn't expect schools to reopen until we're done with the election.
Breaking news: government
Wonder what
officials
that
are
is.
full of shit.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, if you want fans for the Stanley Cup final, then You have to wait till after the election.
I don't understand. I got a question. We're not gonna go get into COVID lockdown talk, but like people in Germany and people in like the UK are literally losing their fucking minds. They're taking to the streets.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what's there? Is this like a worldwide conspiracy to take out Donald Trump? Or I mean,
It could be.
I'm just wondering where the conspiracy is there. It's like, all right, well,
to me, what I was hearing was, well, the rest of the world is opening back up, but because we refuse to follow guidelines, we're still locked down. Is that not still the case?
no, I mean, like go to Australia, you can't fucking do shit, and
Oh yeah.
Germany and all that are still semi locked down.
Yeah, in Australia, I've got a sister-in-law that lives in Melbourne. If you live in the state of Victoria and you try to cross over to the next state over to the northeast, which would be New South Wales, you can't because they've locked the border down.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Which may or may not be constitutional. But the problem with that is that by the time that gets litigated through the courts, then we should be through all this. But that's basically...
I don't feel bad for those states, but let's move on. I think we have one more thing we have to talk about, and we're not going to speak.
Fantasy football.
Fantasy football is not going to happen on this podcast.
Shit.
I can't believe anybody would ever do fantasy football, regardless if there was COVID. But
I haven't done it in 6 years.
yeah, exactly. Now, can we all make an agreement that we're not going to speak of this person's name, but we're going to talk around it because I don't want to speak upon this person's name?
Jake Kemp.
No, not. This isn't about him.
We already mentioned him.
We already mentioned him 2 times now.
I was pretty confident I was right. But okay, please.
You
continue.
were, okay. Well, then, no. But there was a big brouhaha over a local, not a local, but he was a local. He was actually the first voice of the ticket, but he had a... If you, shut your mouth.
I know.
Rock me.
So
I know.
he made a big brouhaha today when he...
We will work harder. Continue.
But we're not going to speak of his name because that's not really the point. Is that he's kind of worthless. Like if there was some people that I follow who followed that whatever show he's on. I think it's Nickelodeon. I think it's
undisputed.
I think it's on Nickelodeon. I'm not sure where it's on, but and his co-host is forgot Booger or something.
Shannon Sharp.
It's. I'm trying to do bits over here, and Brandon's like already said undisputed.
Okay,
and
I'm sorry.
Shannon Sharp.
We got literal man on. Even I.
All right, I'll shut up now.
Yeah, I know. It's like it's
Okay.
on
Do you wanna
Nickelodeon.
re-edit
No, it's
that?
actually on FS1. It's on
Hey,
FS1.
we'll come to you when we need a Cogliano opinion, okay?
How don't we just cut this out and just re-record that?
If you wouldn't believe how many times I've said, "Can we just edit this out?" And he leaves it in every time. So
I've never done that before. You've never said edit anything out. So we're not gonna play audio or anything, but this goof had said something about Dak because Dak was locked down and his brother had committed suicide, and he talked about depression.
I thought Kurt Menefee was the first voice of the ticket.
Nope, it was not that guy. It wasn't Cooperstein either. So,
David Mino.
Ty Walker.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be the last voice in the
Kevin
ticket.
Scott.
Grooves.
Rooms. The biggest thing I want to talk about, I guess, is the shitting on of Dak Prescott during the lockdown whenever he tried to play catch with Dez and go to a Zeke party. So now we have a little more of a thread where we now see that the reason why he did do that is because he was losing his mind in his own home.
That's a normalcy, yeah. And for that, Junior Miller wanted him to be arrested.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
He said, put him in there with Shelley Luther.
Put him in
and-
Gin Pop for a little while and see what his opinion is.
I was actually looking at this. Is Dak's not married,
No.
No.
which is
No.
insane. Is he?
Why? Why is that insane?
He's a quarterback of the Cowboys, and he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, so let's rush to get married. Sounds awesome.
Yes.
Well, you find a thing that's going to last for about 30
It
years,
took Mike Madonna a while to get married, so
He's 38.
and then he got divorced, and then he got married again.
yeah, I did.
He married some dumb pop
Some
star.
guys just
Dude,
Maybe
Dak's
more,
like 26 years old. Even for normal guys, that's
Even-
young.
yeah.
But I thought you'd like have a girlfriend or something.
Maybe he does, but
I'm not saying he's got to like knock her up or anything, but I'm saying he's in a home by himself. And
Well, Brad got married at 26, so he's mad that Dak's not following in
I got
Brad's
married at
footsteps.
23 there, bucko.
You got married at 20-3?
Yeah, dude.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
No, I wasn't 20. No, I was 24, I guess. Today's my 9-year anniversary. So maybe I
Good.
was.
Lord. Well, on that, happy anniversary.
happy and okay.
Yeah,
all right.
thanks. Yeah, Jacob barely wanted to go to my wedding but he's like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. TCU's playing. I think is what he said.
Dude, we had Air Force.
Like, I'm sorry, dude. It's like, why did you have a wedding during college football season? I go,
That's
well,
right, exactly. That's why I had mine during May.
I literally went, okay, so I was taking crazy shots. I got a ride back to my apartment, somehow threw on whatever clothes I was wearing to the wedding, got a ride to the wedding, and just stumbled in hammered and saw all these guys from high school that I hadn't seen since. And we just got way more hammered. And then I got his best man to absolutely make an idiot of himself giving his speech.
Yeah, you know.
So
yeah.
that's my story of Brad's wedding.
Yeah. So, back to Dakota Prescott. You know, let's bring it on down. His brother committed suicide.
Right.
Rest in peace.
Rest in
Rest in
peace. Rest in peace.
Moment of silence.
So, anyways,
Whoa.
oh,
and,
Paul.
right.
Oh, sorry. Does anybody have? And this is what I'm saying about these lockdowns. I'm not saying anything about COVID. I'm not saying anything as far as it's all a hoax. Wait till the election. I don't care about that. I care about people. Like if you're the quarterback of the biggest football team in the league, and you're having problems with this. What do you think other people are doing?
I can answer that because I'm fucked up.
Yeah, we're having fucking problems, and so
I'm losing my fucking mind.
yeah,
I get drunk like 6 nights a week.
I know that should.
I
Yeah.
don't really want to go in on this right now, but I can.
No. I think we joked about that you're activities guy, but now I'm thinking that the activities that's your thing. Whereas, like,
you think Joe Burrow gets drunk 6 times a week?
Joe Burrow does not.
no, but
Because
you
he's
know,
into activities.
like
This
for
isn't what I want to do. This is what I do to cope.
it's a coping
with
mechanism.
This and
Right.
everything else.
This isn't a podcast. This is actually a way to help Jacob through all this. I brought him on here for this reason.
Hey, you can get me right now.
Whatever
If you wanna
we
bring me down, man. I'm on the ledge. So
No,
let's do
you're
it.
not. But I worry about, again, like we've had this conversation today about it. I worry about people like you. I worry about me too. I mean, and for other people to just be like, well, just sit at your fucking house and watch Netflix. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
No, go fuck
I would
yourself.
blow my fucking brains out, man.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you.
Yeah, it's nothing to joke around about. And for people to sit there and you can't be in large gatherings. You know what? Go fuck yourself. I'm gonna say it right now. Go fuck yourself. You can stay in your house, but some people can't. Okay, some people need to get out, and some people need to go and do things. It's not for me. For me, I'm good to just stay at home. Actually, I think I'd be more stressed out if I went out, regardless of COVID. But for some people, this is what you need to be. You need to be around friends and family. You need to be around doing something, keeping your mind moving, and sitting here and dreading about this whatever disease, about this fucking election or anything else like that. That's not helping anything. It's only going to make it worse. I don't know.
I agree with 100% of that and more. So
well, I would just hope that some people, are. I'm not getting into an argument about masks. I only made the thing about masks is because I'm in like a hotel, and it's kind of funny the way I don't have to have a mask on when I'm in my room, but moving towards my room, I have to have a mask. But really, I don't have a mask. I don't put on a mask unless like I'm around. Like if I'm walking through an empty hallway, I'm not going to put a mask on. But if I see someone, I'll go put it up real quick. That's all I said. So it really isn't about any of these other things, but we've got to get back to some semblance of normalcy. And people that are pushing back from it are hurting people, and they don't realize exactly what they're doing.
I agree with the notion that we have to have some type of balance, and that, and since this is my first appearance on the podcast, I'll just say that
this is your second, actually. This is your second.
Yeah, well, I mean, have I actually been released on any podcast?
You were on Google Meet Chaos.
Okay. Right.
But there was 2 other podcasts that I didn't release because I don't know. We were messing around, and I was like,
obviously,
I didn't want to.
There wasn't a lot of content on those.
I was like, no one can hear this. No one can hear this.
That'll be after we die. It'll be the underground albums that they release.
Yeah, exactly. Like Mac Miller, he still has albums coming out now.
Exactly.
As you were saying.
Yeah, it's one thing to. I always go back to the George Floyd protest and how, the media was saying, if you have any gatherings of more than 10 people, then people freak out and say that you need to be thrown in jail. And all of a sudden George Floyd happens. And then that mindset just completely goes out the window. And then all of a sudden it's okay. And the justification I always heard is that, well, these people have masks. Well, masks aren't 100% effective.
Nor
this is about risk right, and this is about risk mitigation. Basically, it's about you're gathering for a purpose that you feel is just, and that the risk itself is worth it. Which you didn't hear anybody actually saying that. They just kind of looked the other way.
That might be a better argument for it, but it's still not the argument for it.
Well,
because
that's what I've always said, Brad, is that we've already determined that there are activities where it's okay to ignore all the COVID regulations because we just saw it. We just saw it with George Floyd.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say, well, this is bigger than the virus. Okay, fine.
Now we're saying right now.
Right.
Now we're saying it right now. It's mental health is bigger at I would say than the virus.
On a macro level, on a macro level, there's this, and there's police reform is something that needs to be a top of mind for society. But on a micro level, for individuals, this is what they need. They need some sense of normalcy. Otherwise, they're going to go nuts. And, we talk about, people our age needing to have that sense of normalcy. What about the elderly people, that are in nursing homes, for example, they can't have any visitors,
Dude, that right there, I would die in my sleep the first night.
Yeah.
Once you said, that's it, no more visitors, I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, and they're not like my grandmother, and she's not in a nursing home. She's in a retirement facility, but we can still see her, but we've only been able to do it in a way of like severe, like a severe social distancing, and we're all kind of staying away from her. We can't go up there and hug her and kiss her or anything, but like at least she's able to, if we did have to do that, she can go get on her phone and we can FaceTime her. Whereas some of these other ones, she's had to help people on, they get a new cell phone. She's the one helping them get it. She's a outlier in a sense, not, like most elderly folks who aren't as computer literate and they can't go and FaceTime their family members. You know, it's a really lonely feeling, and then, you know, it's not only so much just being lonely. Now we're you know, all these job losses and people are losing. You know, on top of everything else, it's like, okay, if either you lost it through COVID or you lost your business through COVID or somebody burned it down now. And it's those things all have consequences. And it's like, oh, only the insurance will take care of it. Well, we've already discovered now that insurance doesn't cover most of these things. They only covered very little bit of it. But that's your entire life has been ruined now from this.
Right.
I mean, there's so many consequences of these things, and people just do not fucking care about it. And
No, they don't.
It's just, I'm only worried about my side of it, and that's, if they're casualties of war, then that's what it is. And I go, it's just insane, and it's really just control of everybody. It's just, we must keep you in this box. We're controlling you, and yeah, and people have, you know, they're in lockdowns that are much worse than what we've had in the United States. And we've seen what's going on. There's people rioting, you know, people taking the streets in the UK and Germany because they're like, fuck this. We're fucking tired of being inside. We can't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I wonder if you want to talk conspiracies, is this just a trial run of, can we mass control the global population?
Well, if it is,
blitz and say, got to stay inside, got to wear a mask. Don't worry about your friends or your family. Stay away from them. Divide and conquer and control.
Well, if it is, which I don't think it is, but if it is, it was wildly successful. You saw everyone will concede and go, you know, like we used to say back in a few months back, was like you had friends that was telling you, yeah, they need to bring tanks out in the street and just lock everybody down and just, you know, because like people are so like Tiananmen Square, and everybody's fucking terrified because of some disease you may or may not catch. You know, I've been paying attention. We had Alex Rodriguez on here, not that Alex Rodriguez, but another Alex Rodriguez who was,
that would have been cool.
That would be cool, but he was on there. He's been going through data, you know, and a lot of it was skewed, and he was like, "This is bullshit. It's stuff of, you know." We had already peaked, but actually the south of the border, where people were coming over, like we don't just say you know, you're from Mexico, so we don't take care of you. No, we still take care of people from Mexico, and then they added it into our numbers, which people didn't know that. Where 9% of the population in Texas were 20% of the deaths. Or 25% of the deaths. I mean, there's more to the story.
If I knew it wasn't going to make me really mad, I'd go back and listen to that podcast. But I mean, I already kind of get the gist of it. So
that's it. That is more the gist. Is there's more to the numbers, and people are skewing
exactly
them.
Right. Which I've always said was the case from day one, but. If I have it confirmed, I'm listening to it, and there's nothing I can do about it, or there's nothing that anybody's going to do about it, then it's just going to make me mad. So,
well, I think that's all I can think of at the moment. If anybody else got anything, but I feel like that was
let me just say this about he who shall not be mentioned.
Yeah.
I don't think he should be fired.
We should probably talk about that.
Yeah.
So just real quick, I just want to I got a little bit of a op-ed on this, right? So
just remember to sign your name at the bottom of the screen.
Huh?
Just remember to sign your name at the bottom of the screen when you're done.
He should not be fired. I think that what I saw on Twitter today was super encouraging, especially for someone like me. And I'm sure there's just I don't think I'm special by any means, but it's something I'm going through. So I feel special, but I know I'm not. But I think a lot of men grew up with this attitude of suck it up. You know, if you're feeling an emotion, you better squash it, and you better go out, and you got a job to do, and you know, you just go on with your life. And you should never feel emotional. If you feel negative, whatever, this or that, then you need to suck it up and go along with it. That's all I've ever been taught my whole life. It's nobody's fault. It's just the way society was. Society's changed since then. Skip Bayless is still reflecting that.
Uh-oh.
You don't
Well,
think
we
so?
got to edit that
You,
out.
you didn't say. You said his name. We're not supposed to
Oh,
say his
Jesus
name.
fucking Christ. Who gives a fuck?
He who shall not be nameless. I'm gonna bleep that out. I'm
Anyway.
gonna figure out how to bleep things, and I'm
So
gonna bleep that out.
he just kind of went into that old rhetoric of suck it up, and he got crushed on Twitter, which was super encouraging. And for me, it was so great to see all of that. I guess that negative response to his comments. You know,
I think that
I don't think
aspect.
he should be fired. What I would like to see, this is my dream world, is Fox to come out and say, listen, this show, it's for entertainment purposes only. Okay. We got into a situation where it became more about entertainment. It became about real life issues. And if you're someone watching this and you're struggling with something, then it's okay to get help. It's okay to not feel okay. You don't take what this show, an entertainment show, says as medical advice or how society feels about something. It's just one man's opinion for entertainment. So however you want to dress that up into a short statement, I really think it would be the responsible thing for Fox to do that. So I don't know. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, I actually wanted to speak on that because I actually heard someone else articulated a little better for me. But the thing is, like, I don't know how religious affiliations are in this room here, but I would not say mine's better, that great, but also it's not. It's actually getting better. But the religious, aspect of like people have turned away from the church, so now the religion and this culture is now their religion. But what the problem is it's not fully the religion. You have original sin where in some aspects, but where turn the other cheek is definitely not part of this culture and this new religion. If you screw up, it's not something that goes, I understand you screwed up, and I understand that you think of something differently. And I feel like this is a time for a teaching moment and someone, to help you get through this and see a different aspect of it. And that's not what it is nowadays. It's an aspect of you thought wrongly, so now you need to pay. And you can't have this type of job here, and we need to get rid of you. And I don't like that aspect. I felt like he who shall be nameless is dreadful and really bad at what he does, or maybe actually really good at what he does. But regardless of what I think of him, I don't think firing him is ever going to do anything for anyone's mental health. I think for anything, him being really, really stupid and retarded was actually a good thing in some aspects, as it got a conversation out to be like, yeah, you could be a tough football player, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, and still go through it. I hope some people actually saw that Dak had mental had basically a form of depression during the lockdown, and being like, holy crap, if Dak Prescott's going through this, well, shit, I guess, I mean, I don't have to feel super lame about what I'm going through. Someone else is going through that too.
There is one thing I left out in what I said, and you're absolutely right. If you're on Twitter, then you receive that message like, wow, like people are fucking slamming this guy. Like, I don't have to feel bad after all. I heard what he said, and I'm like, wow, shit, I guess I'm a pussy. But then everybody else's response is, fuck him. That's stupid. But if you're a guy, if you're 47 years old, and you're not on Twitter, and you're sitting there watching TV, and you hear this guy say this about the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, you're like, God damn, man, I'm kind of feeling what Dak's feeling, but I guess I'm a pussy. I mean, I guess I better just stick it out and ride it out. And eventually get a divorce or maybe worse, you know? Like, that's dangerous to me. That's why I said the thing I said about Fox should come out with a statement and said, listen, guys, this is just entertainment. This guy's just talking for entertainment purposes. He's not giving medical advice. Like, I think it's really fucking dangerous to let that message go out there unchallenged on any medium. Now, on Twitter, it's been squashed, but I'm really afraid of guys who are sitting alone, you know, not on Twitter, watching this guy on TV and he's saying this stuff. That scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, for sure. Brandon, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's definitely a worry, but to kind of add on to what you're both saying is that, you know, I'll kind of take it in a little bit of a different direction. And I posted a tweet storm earlier about this.
Yes. Yeah, that was a very good one.
The problem is that if you get rid of Skip Bayless, then there'll be somebody else that will kind of take his spot as a hot take artist, because, you know, ESPN obviously is full of them. Fox Sports 1 is turning into that a little bit. So if you fire he who shall not be named, then somebody else is just going to take his spot. And secondly, if your first response when somebody says something that is just so preposterous and ridiculous and over the top is we should cancel this guy, no, the correct response is that you push back on the message that is being put out there and say, no, what you're saying and what you're pushing is absolute bullshit. And here's the reasons why. And that in itself will do something I think that canceling probably won't do. And you've got to keep those debate skills sharp, because if you fall into the trap of, you know, we got to cancel this guy. He's saying something that is just you just can't say that. You know, we just have to cancel him. That's how bad ideas, I think, take root. Because then eventually, you know, people like, and this is kind of the Trump effect, is that, you know, the reason why Trump became so popular is because, you know, people just wanted to cancel him just for the sake of canceling him because of what he's saying. And there's got to be pushback to ridiculous ideas, but there's got to be, in order to do that, you know, it's why I'm a free speech absolutist. You know, there has to be, unfortunately, there has to be room for some of these ridiculous ideas to be let into the arena so that you can push back on them.
Well, I think that's what I told old Sean Sharif, who was leading the charge in this. And me and Jacob have met Sean, and he's kind of a dick still, but he, you know, I'm not saying he's a bad guy, and I don't think but I think he's losing track on what he wants to fire Skip. But if anything, like if Sean ever was on the radio and he slipped up and said something goofy or stupid, and everyone called for Sean to be fired, I would be jumping up and down going, no. I mean, Sean's, you know, is what it is. You hate him, right, you love him, whatever. But he shouldn't be fired for saying something like that. I mean, barring something like, you know, things to get, barring something like maybe you say something is the capital of the city or whatever the hell it was. What was that? What did he say? The capital of the world, or capital of whatever.
Oh yeah, when Tom said it, yes.
But barring that,
and
some other
strange comment,
like full on hateful things. I don't think what he had said was hateful. I found it to be obviously very ignorant and
yes.
very like, okay, well, he doesn't need to be fired. He needs to be having a good talking to and know, like, there's other people out there that are going through things, especially now with what's been going on lately.
Well, I know you and Jacob are both kind of young, so I don't know if the name Jimmy the Greek means anything to either one of you.
Yeah, I know.
But that's kind of, somebody else I think the other day brought up It was Daniel who.
Yeah,
said,
y'all were
what was
talking
the first
about that.
cancelization that you remember, and I think he brought up Jimmy the Greek, and I said Al Campanis was the one that I remember, and I didn't really have much of a problem with Al Campanis getting canceled because what he said was, scientifically you could disprove that, and it was basically saying that minorities wouldn't be able to make good front office execs, and there was absolutely no evidence
wasn't
to
it
back
the
up his statement.
what was this?
Jimmy the Greek.
I know the Jimmy the Greek one was just that was
Jimmy
more or
the
less
Greek
just.
one just seemed like he was just trying to kind of play a little bit of a bit where he said, if we if we hire black people, then none of the white people are going to have any jobs anymore because 70% of the players are black. And
Wasn't he the?
it was
no,
just kind of a.
He got canceled for that. I thought he did the whole slave
did.
thing. I thought it was or was that just strike two?
No, he got canceled for that, which was, when you kind of look back on that, it was a little bit surprising. And I was kind of memory hold and or not memory hold, but fell down to the YouTube rabbit hole and was watching some news coverage of it. And like they said, Ahmad Rashad was, backed up Jimmy the Greek and said he's a good guy. And